Commercial, and a lot of time the Park Regency project was pretty involved. A lot of commercial jobs are really as simple as residential. You just meet with a client, they select a product, a color, you quote it, they write you a check, you install it. It's really as simple as residential. But when you get into a major project like the Park Regency was, it does get quite a bit more involved. And of course, the first step is meeting the building managers to even get in the process of putting a bid in. The best way, of course, is a referral, if you can get one. But then the second way I've differentiated myself, and I found it works very, very well, is that whenever I get the chance to do the work in somebody's unit, as soon as I get the order, I go downstairs or wherever the building manager is, I meet them, say, well, I would like a copy of all the rules and the regulations for the building, because when you work in your building, you want to make sure it's no hassle for you or any of the residents. Because that's pretty much music to their ears, because that's what they deal with all day long is hassles. And then obviously that's my opportunity to say, and if you ever have a project in the common areas, I would love to provide a quote for that too. So that's how the connection with Park Regency began. It wasn't long after that they brought me in to do a couple repairs just in the hallways, and then I quoted doing 2 back offices. Both of those went well, and then he told me he would like for me to, that he told me they were going to do a renovation on the whole building, and what he wanted me to do was to work with him to select a good product that'd be good for the building, quote everything out so he could take it to the board and get their approval. He kind of wanted to set the stage of the board. A project of this magnitude with so much money, and make sure sufficient funds were budgeted. We did all that. The board met, and they approved everything to do that this year. And they set up a committee of the residents to do all the selections of the products and the colors. It turned out this was an easy committee to work with. There were about 5 people. There was really one person with that strong personality who knew exactly what she liked, what she didn't like, and everybody else either agreed or chose not to say anything. So it was really very much one of those committees. You could work with one. If she was happy, everybody was happy. So it took about 3 meetings where we went in, and first you talked about broadloom, carpet tile, some options. The second one we really focused in on a variety of products. And then by the 3rd meeting was when they focused in that she, and therefore the committee, really liked this product. And so they asked me to quote it out, which I did. They also had another company quote it out. And after they got all the bids back, they came back and said the bid was good, they wanted to move forward with us. But the trouble with this product was it was over budget, significantly over budget, which I already knew. And they asked if there was any way, we could get the cost down. So their business model, you've heard it before, no overhead, no showroom, no advertising, something. There's not a lot we can do with our margin. But in this case, I brought the mill into the project. And this carpet's made out of skein dyed yarn. Another way to put the coloring is solution dyed. Do small lots. It's cheaper doing skein dyed. If you're doing big lots, solution dye is cheaper. So the mill was able to make a custom product for them with custom fiber. Solution dye that was way less expensive than the original skein dye. So that actually brought the project back in under budget. So this was a custom product the mill came up with to knock off this look.
Nice.
So it turned out really, really nice. And then their next big interest was this was going down the hallways. There was an elevator lobby where they wanted a different carpet in the elevator's lobbies, but they wanted to coordinate with this. And she really wanted us to take a smaller piece of the design and do that in the elevator area. Real world, it doesn't quite work that simple when you're doing carpet styles, but what we did find was another running line product that the manufacturer had that was a very similar construction to what she wanted to match, but the colors weren't right. So it was kind of the same process we went through, where the mills took some of the custom yarn we did in this, intertwined some other colors to make a custom product of this that coordinated with these 2 products. And then the last piece, because this one did come in at a good sharp price, we were able to do a nicer border than we'd planned to, rather than just your very simple cut tile basic border. We had enough in the budget. We could do a little tip shear with a loop. And again, once again, it was a custom color to match the three together. So that's how we put it all together. We went back, they took everything back in front of the board with all of the strike offs, the samples, the quotes, and everything was approved. They said we were good to go, only they weren't going to go for like 6 or 9 months. We think, gosh, nothing good can happen while I sit here for 6 or 9 months. So fortunately, everything did go well. We only had one hiccup with the project. You're inevitably going to have a hiccup on something this big, and when the mill made the custom yarn the first time, it came in off color, so I had to go back, repigment the yarn, go through the process again. We lost about a month. I had not dialed in that much extra, so we got with the installation guys, we double teamed it so we could do 2 floors a day instead of 1 floor a day, and we locked the thing in pretty much right on budget. So as I say, they're really happy. It's a fun one to talk about. Projects this big usually have some things, to get little rough patches in it, but this one went very, very well. So as I say, we'd love to get more connections with commercial. Obviously, most of them are very simple projects, but if you do have a big project, we certainly do have the capability and the connections to do it. And then the property managers, from their perspective, they just don't want hassles. They want a good price, but no hassles. They want the I's dotted and T's crossed. Their challenge is these units have, hundreds of people potentially living in them. Everybody's Monday morning quarterback and the building manager. So more than anything, they just want someone that can focus on the details. In Torrance, Market Direct.